Coro's jewelry being sold. It is all vintage. It might be a great brand to start your vintage collection, but what should you know about the jewelry pieces themselves? Well, Coro was popular in the 1930s, standing out with its unique collection of brooches, necklaces, and bracelets. Established as a small accessory boutique, the brand was founded by Emanuel Cohn and Carl Rosenberger in New York City in 1943. It was named Coro as a contraction of the co-founders' last names, Cohen and Rosen. Eventually, it became known under the names Coro, Coro Craft, and Vendome, which was the company's most expensive jewelry line. While Coro manufactured costume jewelry mostly for the movie industry, Vendome featured high-end pieces and pearl jewelry for brides. The Coro Duets, the double clip brooch that can be worn as a set or individually, were the most sought after pieces of the brand. It established itself as the main manufacturer of romantic jewelry styles, which was inspired by Victorian motifs. Some of these were flower designs, like tulips, poppies, daisies, roses, sunflowers, as well as other whimsical figures. Coral made a few patriotic jewelry pieces during the years of World War II, which are rare and sought by collectors. Eventually, the company began the America's largest costume jewelry manufacturer. During World War II, the brand designed a few patriotic jewelry, particularly the emblem of the Americas brooch. By the 1950s, Coro sold countless, which is a set of various items of matching jewelry, from earrings to necklace, brooch, and bracelet. By 1957, the assets of the company were bought by Richton International Corporation of New York and continued manufacturing jewelry. Unfortunately, it lost its dominance to jewelry trends of the 70s, bead fashion and tailored jewelry, and to other competition. But in 1979, Coro left the jewelry industry after 78 years in business. So they were in business till 79. So any jewelry you get that's marked Coro is going to be 79 or older. The features you'll see of the Coro jewelry are the Coro's collections were designed by various jewelry designers, so you're going to see different features. Cohen and Rosenberger were not jewelry designers, so they selected several designs from different professionals and artists, with the help of Adolf Katz, the company's design director. He was responsible for much of Coro's success in the competitive jewelry industry. Some of their designers were Francos, Jean Verico, Masai Raymond, Oscar Placco, and Robert Geisman, many of whom eventually established their own jewelry lines. So a lot of famous jewelry designers designed Coro, and then they went on to design their own line. The company patented many of its designs. So Katz filed most of Coro's patents, including the mechanism of the Coro Duet, as well as some of its designs, including several figures of jelly bellies, animals, insects, sea creatures, objects, people, and more. Coro even designed a brooch with a leak-proof perfume bottle so the wearer could carry his favorite scent. There were also wrist charmers or jeweled disc bracelets worn by America's best-dressed women. Now, quality of craftsmanship and designs. The company created designs using various materials in its collections, including pressed glass, lucite, enamel, faux pearls, rhinestones, colored metal, sterling silver, and gold. They also created several unique designs, including the famous duets, tremblet floral pins, which trembled or moved with wearer, jelly belly pins, and other elaborate costume jewelry designs. If you're building a jewelry collection of pieces from the past, it's quite intimidating, but you can never go wrong with coral jewelry. And so you're going to find that they did the coral duet brooch, which was like two owls together, or it could be separated. They did a sea creature enamel pin. One of the patent designs by them was the Paradise Fish. It was designed by Jean Barocco in 1941. This enameled fish brooch is decorated with rhinestones and moonstones set in rhodium plated. So even though it's not gold plated or silver plated, coral is still a high end jewelry line. They made jelly belly pins. They were made by Miss Milana's Vintage, and it's just a like a bug with a jelly belly. And if you're looking for something exotic, the beetle jelly belly pin is perfect for you. Made of sterling silver, it's designed with lucite belly and studded with clear rhinestones. Like many other jewelry brands of the time, including Trifari and Monet, jelly belly pins were highly popular and in style. This there's one with a perfect it, this one is a perfect example of the exquisite beauty of many of these jelly belly pins. Like you'll see a lucite flower, that's by Coro. And that pin embodies coral's floral motif and natural touches. Add a vintage touch to your feminine style with a carved lucite flower pin, giving a nod to the Victorian era. It's one of the special pins from Coral and is sure to become family heirloom. So it's just a lucite white flower on a metal leafed pin. And then Coral made a purple necklace by Bygone Allure. That was the designer on it. And it was beautiful. The way the stones were set in the metal, it truly makes for a show-stopping statement piece. Coral also made a ring, stunning blue cocktail ring, layered with a Victorian design, and that was one of the best features of the ring was the floral look of it and its adjustable shank. Over the course of its existence, Coral established three jewelry lines, and all of which had outstanding workmanship and unique designs. Coral popularized the coral duets, which were built on high quality metal frames, enamels, glass stones, and faceted beads. Early brooch designs were monochromatic, but eventually featured pave set rhinestones. Nowadays, the quivering camellia design is highly valued by vintage collectors. Coral Jewelry for Sales collection featured earrings, necklaces, and brooches decorated with make-believe topaz, aquamarine, emerald, and amethyst. Other designs were turtle-shaped earrings and pins adorned with blue enamel and rhinestones. Some pieces were nearly rubies or sapphires surrounded by rhinestones in golden settings. Coral craft was more elevated than coral in terms of quality and value. It introduced a collection of Tate plains, jelly belly brooches made of lucite bellies, as well as sterling silver bracelets plated in gold. The jewelry line also used rhinestones, which were called diadem jewels, giving its collection a luxurious appeal. The top of the coral line was bendome, is also used as lucite, but its jewelry designers formed the material in organic shapes instead of the traditional lucite stones. This line featured lucite leaves and petals in floral brooches. There were also silver-plated bangles, gold-plated brooches, cabochon bracelets, and rhinestone-studded chokers. In general, the company utilized glass beads, faux pearls, faux moonstones, multicolored glass cabochons, as well as pressed glass and plastics in its collection. Instead of colored metal and enamel, higher-end jewelry lines used gold vermeil, sterling silver, European crystals, and rhinestones. Some designs were even crafted in heavy gold plated. Does coral jewelry tarnish? Higher end coral pieces are made from sterling silver, which unfortunately is prone to tarnishing. If not maintained, most pieces will have an age related patina, though it can be removed with a silver polish and a jewelry cloth. Depending on the design and material used in crafting the silver piece, cleaning might require help of a professional. Some coral jewelry pieces were designed using silver tone or gold tone metal, which means they don't have real silver or gold in them. They're made by dipping a metal piece like brass or silver in gold looking substance. Coral pieces crafted from this material likely have some age related metal wear and they shouldn't be over cleaned. Most pieces decorated with intricate enamel work are of high quality, so they're less likely to chip and you don't have to worry about the colors fading. While you can still find coral pieces in excellent condition, others might have a few wear marks. Also, the enameled surface can easily be damaged, uh, unfortunately. How to tell real coral jewelry. Unfortunately, many pieces of coral and coral craft are being reproduced from new molds taken from their original styles. Lots of research and familiarizing yourself with the brand's marks would help. And here are some of the ways to identify an authentic coral piece from fakes and reproductions. You need to know the brand's hallmark. Coral ribbon bow featuring one of the brand's hallmark. And it is Coral used a variety of marks in its collection, which can be seen on the back of a piece. For instance, early coral jewelry was marked CR, but pieces manufactured in 1919 featured a coral mark in script. In 1937, coral craft was used, but it became coral craft sterling in 1942. After the World War II, the brand used coral craft and coral sterling marks. Eventually, it also used a figure of a flying horse, the Pegasus, with the name Coral in script and Craft in print. There were also marks with Coral Craft in script. When designs marked with various coral and coral craft signatures, although many of these have never been credited to the brand, since discerning authentic pieces is quite challenging, you might also want to check the history and marks of coral jewelry as a reference. It's common that fake pieces are larger than the original size of the piece because they're made in larger molds. Authentic pieces are made of high quality materials. Some of the reproductions are fake, copies made in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, so they're noticeably cheaper compared to the authentic pieces they try to intimidate or imitate. Also, others are generally cruder. Have There are several coral pieces that can be found on reputable sites as well as on Etsy, but don't forget to look for the product's guarantee of authenticity. Also, always check the seller's profile, feedback, and reviews, as well as their shipping and return policies. Is coral jewelry worth anything? Vintage costume jewelry doesn't have to be made of solid gold and diamonds just to be valuable. Depending on the material, design, and workmanship of the coral jewelry piece, it can be surprisingly valuable, especially for collectors and the secondhand market. Since it's challenging to know its value for the untrained eye, it's recommended to ask help from a reputable jewelry expert. Many coral pieces are sought after by collectors, including the brand's set marked with a Pegasus. Many search for these coral pieces manufactured around 1945 to 1955, especially if they're in excellent, good condition without damage and wear. A summary. Why is coral so popular? Well, coral became popular for its interesting jewelry design, quality workmanship, and versatility. In 1935, it created its first duet brooch, which became one of the favorite pieces of the time. The jewelry piece was worn to decorate the neckline, belts, purses, and hats. The company also made fashion accessible with its jewelry lines, which appealed to a wide range of customers. Higher end coral craft pieces were often featured in catalogs and sold in department stores. Coral also innovated a lot, improving on other designs or adding their own twist. For example, even though the Trifari jewelry brand introduced the Jelly Belly brooches with lucite stones, Coral soon introduced its own collection and even patented some of its designs. Even though it eventually closed its doors, the company left a legacy with its jewelry, now sought after by collectors. Because so much coral jewelry was produced, it's a great brand to start building your vintage collection. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this introduction to coral jewelry.